Hi there, I'm Lena Anani, and you're listening to She Wrote a Book, where I interview amazing women from all over the world who also happen to be published authors. I created this show to educate, entertain, and inspire you to be the voice you want to hear in the world. Now let's get started. You are listening to episode number 93 of She Wrote a Book, and today I'm interviewing Annette Rochelle Aben, author of the book Angel Messages, A Wing and a Prayer. Angel Messages is filled with pictures, prayers, and poems offering love, hope, and comfort straight from the angels themselves. Open up your heart to receive the angel messages. Michigan native Annette Rochelle Aben was born to write. An award-winning author, she currently has 6 self-published titles available on Amazon and Kindle. Annette also edits the digital magazine, The Magic Happens. Again, her book is called Angel Messages, A Wing and a Prayer. You can find the link to purchase her book in our show notes for this episode at SheWroteABook.com/93. So, Annette, it's such a pleasure to have you here as a guest today. My first question is always, what inspired you to write and publish this book?
Thank you. Thank you so kindly for allowing me to be part of the program. And what inspired me to write this book? Oh, my gosh, the angels did. And some people think that's a little silly because they don't necessarily sense angels or understand them. But honestly, after a lifetime of being around angels, I believe with all my heart and soul that it was the angels that invited me, asked me, and encouraged me to write this book.
And how did that look like? How was that experience for you?
I have been receiving daily guidance from angels for as long as I can recall. And about 14, 15 years ago, I was asked to start sharing them with more people. So in an email, I would send a friend an angel message, or I'd drop one in a card that I wrote to somebody. Then pretty soon, an email list grew from that. Once I got involved in social media, everything went out via Facebook. Once I started a blog, everything went out again. And eventually, I kept feeling I needed to put them into a book. This book is not the messages, but this book is filled with messages from the angels that don't necessarily fit into the format that I was using to send the angel messages out. So my whole house started vibrating. It's filled with angels anyway. The moment I nailed this thought process, it was like, she got it, she got it. So that's what it felt like, and that's how it came about and turned out. I think they're pleased. I really do.
That's amazing. Awesome. So, you mentioned that some people think talking about angels might be silly, or people might not necessarily believe in the power of angels. Why do you think that is?
Partially because many people associate angels with a religious belief, and I don't. I sense that angels are a physical interpretation of a higher vibration of love. That's all they are, is the energy of love. To me, that's how I understand it. So I don't have to have any particular religious affiliation whatsoever to believe in angels. I do happen to be an ordained minister, but that's not where my connection to angels comes from. So when most people think that paying attention to angels, having statues of angels, calling upon angels, seeing them, hearing them, when they think that doesn't make any sense, I believe it's because it very possibly goes against their religious upbringing. A lot of people think that having angel statues around is a form of idolatry, and in their particular religious doctrine, that goes against the grain. So I think that's why some people don't believe. I also think people don't believe because I have been told by other folks, well, if there are angels, why didn't they stop that massacre at the high school? Why didn't they stop that 14-car pileup on the highway? And so forth. And my only response to them is, whatever took place between the souls that left this earth due to those circumstances, whatever energy that was between them and a higher power. If angels were meant to intercede, they would. And how do you know that an angel wasn't there to guide them safely and painlessly into that next realm? We just think angels are supposed to stop everything. I don't think we quite get the fact that that's not their job, and they generally don't intercede unless we have invited them. And there are cases where that's not true too.
Right. I love leaning on angels to help me find a parking spot. But yeah, so I
I hear the same objections about angels, and it really, what you said really resonated for me, because as you were talking about, well, why didn't they stop a massacre? And I'm like, and in my mind's eye, I'm seeing the angels helping people cross over, helping people get to the light safely. And I'm like, oh, they did help. It's just not how we typically would have expected them to help. So I really like the way you put that, and I'm glad you addressed that objection. So let's talk about some awesome angel experience. What are some of your favorite angel experiences?
Oh my gosh, there's one that I put in the book that I will share simply because it's not a spoiler alert. It's at the very beginning of the book, and if it helps you to want to pick the book up, then I encourage listening to this. I was driving down a very snowy, cold December Michigan highway, needing to be someplace very quickly, and you couldn't travel very fast. And all at once, out of nowhere, these huge bright lights were behind me, and I couldn't see anywhere around me. I couldn't see on either side, and this truck was barreling down on me so quickly. And I thought, look, you're bigger than I am. You can see around me. Go around me, for heaven's sakes. And I'm in the middle lane. So I shoved my arms out, locked them into position, held onto the wheel of my car. And all at once, out of nowhere, my car slid to the left. This truck went whizzing past me, and my car slid back into the lane. Now, it didn't go turning. You know how the nose would go, and then the back end would follow. It slid to the left, just slid right up and slid right back. And as soon as that truck was in front of me, I could see traffic all the way around. There was no room for me in those other lanes. I shouldn't have been there. All I can tell you is that it had to be angels moving that vehicle, because that truck was not slowing down. Had it not slowed down and I not moved, I wouldn't be sitting here to talk to you about it. So that's an experience that I really and truly believe was angelic in nature. Another one was when I was recovering from the inability to walk. About 10 years ago, I had lost the inability to walk through a series of accidents. And as a result, going through physical therapy, I was sitting on my bed one day and thoroughly disgusted because it wasn't moving fast enough. And I was crying, of course, wah. And I felt something land on my right shoulder. And it felt warm and protective, but full and massive. And I looked up, and of course there's the ceiling in your room. But what it was, as it felt to me, was if you think of a feather and each little strand of hair, it was one strand of a feather on a wing of the Archangel Michael. Because my fear was, if I learn to walk again, will I fall again and have that ability taken away? And I was scared to learn to walk again for the fear that I would fall again and it would all be a mess. And I really believed that was Michael. But when I looked up, it looked like the largest piece of matter, and it was just one thin strand of a wing. I mean, it was amazing. I don't know how else to explain it. And when I looked up, I could see it going all the way through the top of my house, up into the sky. And I remember my caregiver looking at me saying, "What are you looking at? Your face is just glowing." And I said, "The Archangel Michael, he's here to protect me. And that means that it's okay for me to learn how to walk again." And I was 50 at the time. And, when you're a little baby and you're learning to walk, you have no fear. You just keep standing up and falling down, standing up and falling down and saying, "Look, daggone it, I'm going to walk." But when you're 50 and your mind tells you you can't do something and your heart's telling you to try, something in between logic and tenacity takes over. And you're either going to do it or you're going to lay there like a fish for the rest of your life. And I knew I couldn't do that. So I believe that, too, was angelic, divine guidance and intervention.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love working with Michael. Do you have any other angels that you like to work with, and why?
Honestly, I don't know all their names. I mean, I do know. I know Raphael, and I know certain names of angels. But honestly, I just feel angelic presence. When I felt that presence of Michael specifically, I just knew, oh, wow, it could have been Gabriel. It could have been anybody, seriously. But I don't necessarily pray to specific angels unless I am asked. If somebody says, "Would you please send this particular angel to me?" I will speak directly to that angel. Give me a name. I did find out that the patron saint of people born in October, patron saint, listen to me, But the guardian angel for people born in the month of October is Barbie L, which gave me the biggest laugh because I thought, oh, sure, Barbie's got her own angel. How hysterical is that? But it was, I know, right? That my brain just goes. And the angels get it. They're not mad at me. They think it's kind of funny that I'm goofy. But I really only work with specific angels if I'm invited to do so. And and I would think the angels guide that person to ask, because I think that there's strength in the numbers of people working towards a similar goal. So I'm always enchanted when someone invites me to.
Awesome. Very awesome. So what do you hope people will get out of reading your book?
I would hope a couple of different things. The first is that they would realize they're never alone. That's huge. I think most people fall into depression, I know I have in the past, or become completely withdrawn, and it is not necessarily depression, but completely withdrawn from wanting to even interact with people because they think that they're odd or they're strange or there's something wrong with them. Angels love you no matter what. They don't care what you look like. They don't care how much money you make, and so on and so forth. Also, you are never alone. There is always an angel around. Always an angel around, whether you sense them or you see them or you don't. They're there. They're there. So that's what I hope people get from it, that they're never alone and that there isn't anything unlovable about them at all. Angels love you no matter what.
Beautiful. So, Annette, what do you love most about being an author?
Oh, my gosh, because nobody can tell me I can't be. I know that sounds kind of silly, but there are times you go and you apply for a job somewhere and they say, oh, I'm sorry, you're not what we're looking for. I think to myself, what do you mean I'm not what you're looking for? And they say, no, you're not what we're looking for. If you're an author, nobody can tell you that.
I love that. That is such a great response.
Thank you.
I love that. Yeah, I feel the same way about being a self-published author. It's like I'm not going to wait around for someone to tell me that, for a book deal or something like that. I'm not going to wait around. I have a message to share with the world. I want to get it out there, and I just really resonate with your response. I love that.
Thank you. And you know what's really funny is with the advent of things like Lulu and Create Space, not that this program is suggesting any one self-publishing mode over another. But these are two that I have used in the past, and I currently use Create Space. I find it to be very easy. With the advent of these options available, there's no reason why, if you have a message, even if it's one book, even if it's a book that nobody else understands in your circle of friends, publish it anyway. Publish it anyway. It will make you feel like $1 million billion bucks. And you could make $1 million billion bucks. How do you know you can't?
Absolutely. I love it. Annette, thank you so much for being our special guest today. We will have a link to your book in the show notes for this episode, and our listeners can find that at SheWroteABook.com/93 to learn more about our author and her very inspiring book. Thanks again, Annette. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to She Wrote a Book. If you enjoyed this episode, then subscribe now so you can automatically get access to all new episodes, and feel free to share your inspired thoughts with us in the comments too. I'd love to hear from you. Until then, may you always feel good and make magic.